You're out there running, cycling, swimming, putting in the work, showing up consistently, and yet something still feels off. You gas out faster than you should, your heart's pounding way harder than it needs to be, and no matter how much cardio you do, it feels like you're hitting a wall you just can't break through. What if I told you the problem isn't how much you're training, but how you're training? And more specifically, what if 2 sessions per week, done the right way, could completely transform the way your body uses oxygen and change your endurance game forever? Stick with me, because what I'm about to share isn't another generic fitness tip you've already heard 100 times. This is the stuff that elite coaches use with professional athletes, and honestly, most regular people never get access to it. But today you do. So if you're new here and you stumbled onto this video, do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button, because we put out content like this every single week, and you do not want to miss what's coming next. All right, let's talk about VO2 max. And before your eyes glaze over because it sounds like a science term from a textbook, just hear me out for a second. You don't need to understand the biology to use this. All you need to know is this. VO2 max is basically your engine size. It tells you how much oxygen your body can actually use when you're working hard. The higher it is, the more power you can sustain, the longer you can go, and the faster you recover between efforts. Simple as that. Now here's what most people don't realize, and this is the part that genuinely blew my mind when I first learned it. You can make serious, measurable improvements to your VO2 max in just a few weeks. Not months, not years, weeks, but only if you're training in a very specific zone, at a very specific intensity, for a very specific amount of time. Most people are either going too easy and basically just cruising, or going so hard they burn out and can't recover. The sweet spot? Almost nobody hits it, until now. Before we get into exactly what to do, I'm curious. Drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. Could be your city, your country, wherever. I love seeing where this community is coming from, and it honestly keeps me motivated to keep making these videos. All right, let's get into it. So let's start with the foundation, because if you don't understand why this works, you'll probably do it for 2 weeks and quit. And that would be a shame, because the results that come after about 3 to 4 weeks of consistency are genuinely remarkable. Here's what's happening inside your body when you train hard. Your muscles are demanding oxygen, your heart is pumping like crazy trying to deliver it, and your lungs are working overtime. Now, most people think the limit is the lungs. They think, I just need to breathe better. But the real bottleneck, the thing that actually caps your performance, is how efficiently your cardiovascular system can deliver oxygen to working muscles, and how well those muscles can actually use it once it arrives. That's what VO2 max measures, and that's what we're targeting. Think of it like a highway. You could have a car that goes 200 miles per hour, but if the highway only has 1 lane, you're stuck. Training your VO2 max is like adding lanes to that highway. More capacity, more flow, better performance across the board. Whether you're running a 5K, playing a pickup basketball game, or just trying to keep up with your kids without feeling completely wrecked. Now here's the part where it gets interesting. The most effective way to push your VO2 max up isn't to go hard all the time. It's actually to work at a very specific intensity, usually somewhere between about 90 and 100% of your maximum heart rate, for repeated short bursts with controlled rest periods in between. This type of training has a name. You've probably heard it: interval training. But not just any intervals. We're talking about what sports scientists call VO2 max intervals. And the way most people do intervals is completely wrong. Here's what I mean. Picture this. Someone hops on a treadmill, cranks it up for 30 seconds, jumps off, walks for 2 minutes, and repeats that maybe 4 or 5 times. That's not bad, but it's not targeting the right system. The efforts are too short to really challenge your aerobic ceiling, and the rest periods are often too long. You're barely touching VO2 max territory before you stop. It's like revving your engine just high enough to hear it, then backing off before it really kicks in. The magic only happens when you actually spend time at that ceiling. Okay, so here's where we get into the actual protocol. And I want you to pay close attention here, because the details matter more than people think. Twice a week, not 3 times, not 5 times, twice, you're going to do a specific interval session. Here's why twice is the sweet spot. VO2 max training is genuinely taxing on your central nervous system and your cardiovascular system. If you do it too often, you stop recovering properly, your quality drops, and you actually start going backward. Elite endurance athletes know this. They train hard on hard days and easy on easy days. That's the whole philosophy, not medium all the time. Hard twice a week, and the rest of the week can be easy aerobic work or rest. For the session itself, here's the structure that consistently produces results. You're going to do intervals at an effort level where you feel like you could maybe say a few words, but you definitely can't hold a full conversation. It should feel hard, uncomfortably hard, but not a full sprint. If you're using heart rate as a guide, you're looking for roughly 90 to 95% of your max. If you're working by feel, think, this is hard, I don't love this, I want it to stop, but I'm not dying. The work period? 3 to 5 minutes. Yes, that sounds long when you're going that hard. That's the point. The reason most interval protocols don't move the needle on VO2 max is that the efforts are too short to actually push your body into that upper aerobic zone and hold it there. Your body needs a few minutes to really reach that ceiling and hang around there. That's where the adaptation happens. That's where your cardiovascular system says, okay, we need to build more capacity because this is clearly a demand we keep running into. After each work interval, you rest. And this is where people mess up constantly. They either rest too little so they go into the next effort already fried and they can't hit the right intensity, or they rest way too long, let their heart rate drop completely, and they're basically starting from scratch every time. The sweet spot for rest is roughly equal to your work time. So if you did 4 minutes of work, take about 3 to 4 minutes of easy movement. Not sitting, not stopping, just easy walking or slow pedaling. How many intervals total? 4 to 6 per session. Start at 4 if you're newer to this style of training. Work up to 6 over the course of several weeks. By the time you're consistently hitting 6 quality intervals at the right intensity, your VO2 max will already have shifted noticeably. People in your regular fitness circles will start asking what you've been doing differently. Your times will drop, your recovery will improve, and you'll notice it in your everyday life too. Climbing stairs, playing sports, walking fast, everything just feels easier. Now think about that for a second. 2 sessions a week, 4 to 6 intervals each session. Each interval lasts 3 to 5 minutes. That means your actual hard work per session might total only 15 to 25 minutes. That's it. The rest is warm-up, cool-down, and the rest periods in between. You don't need 2 hours in the gym. You need 2 focused, intentional sessions and the right understanding of what you're actually trying to accomplish. Have you ever tried interval training before and felt like it wasn't working? Drop that in the comments. I genuinely want to know, because there might be something specific I can address based on what people are struggling with most. Alright, let's go a level deeper here, because there's something that almost nobody talks about when it comes to VO2 max training. And it's honestly the difference between people who see huge gains and people who spin their wheels for months without progress. It's not the intervals themselves, it's what you do on the other 5 days. Here's where I need you to really think about this with me. Most people who start doing hard interval work automatically assume more is better. So they add a 3rd session, or they start making their easy runs harder because they feel guilty going slow. And this completely destroys the system. Here's why. VO2 max adaptations happen during recovery, not during training. The training is the signal. Recovery is where the actual change takes place. When you do those 2 hard sessions, and then you fill the rest of your week with moderate to hard effort, your body never gets the chance to adapt. You're just piling stress on top of stress. Your heart rate stays elevated, your hormones are disrupted, and instead of building up, you're actually tearing down. This is called overreaching, and it's more common than you'd think, especially among motivated, disciplined people who genuinely care about their progress. Ironically, caring too much without understanding this leads to worse results. So the protocol is this: 2 hard days, built around your VO2 max intervals. The rest of your week should be genuinely easy. If you run, go slow enough that you can hold a full conversation without effort. If you cycle, keep it light and relaxed. The old rule of thumb, 80% of your training should be easy, 20% should be hard, is backed by decades of research on elite athletes, and it applies to you just as much as it applies to a professional marathon runner. There's a real story here that I think perfectly captures this. A recreational triathlete, someone who'd been training consistently for 3 years, kept plateauing in his race times. He was training 6 days a week, almost always at what he called moderate effort, Never really easy, never really hard, just kind of medium all the time. He hired a coach, and the first thing the coach did was completely flip his training. 2 hard days with structured VO2 max intervals, 4 genuinely easy days, 1 rest day. Within 8 weeks, his VO2 max had gone up significantly, his race times dropped, and this is the part that got him. He was actually training less total volume than before. Not more, less, but doing it smarter. That's the whole idea. Smart beats hard every single time. Now let me address something that might be going through your head right now, because I hear this question a lot. Okay, but how do I actually know if I'm at the right intensity during the intervals? Great question. And this is where people get tripped up because heart rate monitors, pace, perceived effort, they all tell a slightly different story. Here's the most practical way to think about it. No fancy gadgets required. During your interval, you should feel like you're working at about an 8 out of 10. Not a full sprint, that's a 10. Not comfortably hard. That's a 6 or 7. An 8. You can push through it, you're clearly working very hard, and you definitely couldn't sustain it for much longer than 5 minutes. If you get to 4 minutes in, and you feel like you could keep going at full intensity for another 10 minutes, you need to push harder. If you're absolutely gasping and you can't maintain consistent pace or effort across all your intervals, dial it back slightly. Consistency across intervals matters more than going absolutely all out on the first one and dying on the last one. Here's a little trick I really like. Pay attention to how you feel on your third interval compared to your first. If your third interval feels wildly harder than your first, you probably went out too hard. Ideally, they all feel hard, but a similar kind of hard. That's a sign you're pacing well and actually targeting the right system consistently. And by the way, this isn't just for runners. This works just as well on a bike, in the pool, on a rowing machine, even on an elliptical if that's what you've got. The modality matters less than the intensity and the structure. What you're training is your aerobic engine, and that engine doesn't care whether you're moving your legs or your arms. It just cares that you're pushing it to its ceiling. Be honest with me. Have you been training mostly in that medium effort zone? Because if you have, you're not alone. Most people do. And it's not your fault. It's just that nobody explains how the different training zones actually work and why they produce such different results. The medium zone feels productive because you're tired afterward. But tired doesn't automatically mean adapted. That's one of the biggest misunderstandings in fitness, and it keeps millions of people stuck on a plateau for years. Let's talk about how fast you'll actually see results, because I don't want to oversell this and I don't want to undersell it either. In the first 2 weeks, you probably won't notice a huge difference in performance. What you will notice is that the intervals get slightly more manageable. You'll start to feel like your body is getting used to the demand. That's the first sign of adaptation. Your heart isn't quite as panicked as it was at first. You recover a little faster between efforts. By weeks 3 and 4, things start to click. Your resting heart rate might tick down a beat or two. Your easy runs feel genuinely easy in a way they didn't before. And when you push hard, you can sustain it a little longer before you hit that wall. This is your VO2 max actually moving up. Research consistently shows that with proper high-intensity interval training targeting VO2 max, you can see meaningful improvements, sometimes 5 to 15%, within just 4 to 6 weeks of consistent training. That might not sound like a huge number, but in real-world terms, it's the difference between huffing and puffing on a trail run and feeling like you could keep going forever. By 8 to 12 weeks of this approach, you will have made more progress on your aerobic capacity than most people make in an entire year of unfocused training. That's not hype. That's just what happens when you train with intention and let your body actually recover. Here's what I want to leave you with, because I think this is the part that really sticks if you let it. Most people treat their fitness like a volume problem. They think the answer is always more miles, more sessions, more hours, more sweat. And that mentality leads to burnout, injury, plateau, and eventually giving up. What elite athletes know, what the best coaches understand, is that fitness is actually a quality problem. 2 sessions done brilliantly is worth more than 7 sessions done carelessly. Intensity matters, recovery matters, structure matters. You don't have to completely overhaul your life. You don't need a coach, an expensive gym, or a complicated plan. You just need 2 days a week where you show up, push yourself to roughly 90% of your max, Hold it for 3 to 5 minutes at a time, rest just as long as you worked, and do that 4 to 6 times. Then you go home, you rest, you eat well, and you let your body do what it's designed to do: adapt, rebuild, and come back stronger. If you've been searching for something that actually moves the needle on your cardio, your endurance, your athletic performance, this is it. It's not complicated, it's not glamorous, but it works, and it works fast, and the science behind it is rock solid. Now I want to hear from you. Are you going to give this protocol a real try? Or maybe you've already been doing something similar and you want to share what's been working for you? Either way, leave a comment below. This community is full of people on the same journey, and your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. If this video gave you something valuable, if you learned something that actually changes the way you think about training, subscribe to the channel. Seriously, I put everything I have into making content that's actually useful, not just entertaining. And I'd love for you to be part of this community as it grows. Hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. And speaking of the next one, I made a video specifically about how to structure your full weekly training schedule around these 2 hard sessions, so you're maximizing every single day of the week, not just the hard ones. You're going to want to see that one. The link is right there on your screen. Go do the work. You've got the blueprint now. Use it.